In this video, I'm going to show you some of the more advanced tricks I've learned for laying road in the new SimCity. These techniques will help you get the most from the limited space in a city tile, as well as make your layout look better overall. The first thing we'll look at are the all-important road guidelines. Without them, building an efficient, well-packed city is pretty much impossible. I'm going to be throwing some numbers at you, but don't worry, you don't really need to remember them. They'll just help you understand a little bit about what I'm going to be talking about later. Streets of all size are 24 meters wide, while avenues are exactly twice that size at 48 meters wide. This reflects the zoning. For example, the low density zone, as you can see here, marked with the green line, is also 48 meters wide, same width as the avenue. The larger zones for both medium and high density buildings are twice that size at 96 meters wide. Now let's take a closer look at the exact street spacing. Street spacing is actually pretty basic. The guidelines will automatically space the roads to be the 96 meters apart, which will fit in either two small lots back to back on the roads, or once you start upgrading the roads, you'll be able to fit in a single large lot on its own. Now this is okay because later on, once you have the population density, you're probably going to want that extra roads in the middle anyways. Avenues are a bit more complex. Depending on what road you're going to be drawing next to them, the guidelines will change. If you're drawing two avenues next to each other, they'll give you enough spacing to put in two high-density zones back to back. But note, if you're drawing a road next to an avenue, it's only going to give you enough spacing to fit in a single high-density on the avenue side and then a low-density on the road side. Now the reason the spacing exists is because of what's called stacking, where if you draw three roads next to each other, it'll match the same spacing as two avenues. This allows you to still fit in a higher density building between the road and the avenue. Now I want to show you a little bit about circles. Of course, the easiest way to draw circles is just grab the circle tool, your road, and start laying them down. But that gives you very little control about which direction it's going. Of course, you can hold shift to actually create a perfect circle, but you're still limited in which direction you can go. The easiest way to control which direction you want the circle to go is to draw a straight road first, in the direction you want, grab your circle tool and draw it off the end of that road. So in this case it'll go up. If I grab this road, it's going to go to the left. Now if you want a bit more precision, let's say you're doing a roundabout, you can actually create center lines. Grab your circle tool, draw the circle from the outside, and while holding shift, drag over the intersection. It'll snap to it, and you can plop it down. Grab your bulldozer, and while holding control, you quickly remove the roads, and you have your roundabout. Another good place to use circles, or in this case, a curve, are on roads like this. First of all, they don't look great, and second, that intersection can cause traffic problems later on. An easy way to solve this issue, assuming your roads line up to the rest of the map, is to take a road tool and while holding shift, draw on a 45-degree angle across the end. If you're a little too close, it won't work, so you'll have to move back a little bit just to make sure. Once that's down, bulldoze the corner off, and this is actually called a chamfer, where a corner is cut off on a 45-degree angle like this. Remove the rest of the roads, and your two road ends will be the perfect distance to draw in your curve. Select your curve tool, and all you have to do is draw from one end to the other, and you have what's called a fillet, which will give you a lot less traffic problems later on and looks a lot nicer. If you have a situation where you can't use the 45-degree angle, or you're using avenues which are expensive and you don't want to blow up, you can just use the curve tool to drag over, but sometimes it won't line up properly and you'll get a bit of a weird turn. One little trick is to drag a bit past the turn and then back, and you'll get something a bit closer to a proper 45-degree fillet. One last place I like to use the arc tool is in situations like this, where you have two roads coming in that don't quite meet. One simple way to connect them would be just draw straight across, and that works fine, but I like to do something with a bit more style. If you take the arc tool and draw from point to point, the game automatically creates a nice smooth curve for you. And I like to look at this transition and use it where I can. That covers everything I wanted to show you in this video. In part 2, I'll be showing you how to combine the ideas of guidelines and arcs to create more complex shapes in your city. This is my first video like this, so let me know what you thought in the comments below, or if there's any other topics you'd like me to cover. I will be hitting some other topics later on, such as traffic management, service coverage, and getting the proper mix of zoning, so be sure to subscribe to catch those. I'll also be covering some other games such as PlanetSide 2 or maybe even Kerbal Space Program. For now, have fun building and take care.